one who starts the best conversations on Facebook, WhatsApp, or in the group chat? If so, this is the podcast for you. Hi, I'm Eva.
And I'm Don, and welcome to Chat and Bother. This is a 15-minute podcast where we start conversations and you and your circle finish them.
If you want to know the backstory of how this podcast got its name, you can listen to our really quick podcast intro.
Each episode is based on a question that people are asking each other online and in real life.
Maybe it's a question that you and your friends have asked each other, or a topic you're talking about.
If it isn't, maybe it should be. So go ahead and share this episode with a friend or family member so they can listen to it and you can talk about it together.
Today I asked my friends on my personal Facebook page a question: how old they were when their parents, mom or dad, or both stopped making breakfast for them. I got a variety of answers. I noticed that it depended on whether your parent was single or, sometimes a grandmother would make breakfast. So I guess it's more of a traditional person. And it varied culturally as well. As you all know, I was raised primarily in America, and I married an American person. He was raised in Delaware in the United States. So that's almost north. I guess were y'all guys considered north? Because I know Maryland and DC are not north.
Just north of the Mason-Dixon line. It's the first state on the free side.
Okay. We're going to talk today very briefly about the differences in our upbringing. So again, none of this is like all American people do this, all Caribbean American people do this. It's just what happened in our house. So Don, how old were you when your mom stopped making you breakfast?
She hasn't stopped yet.
This I can attest to. Every time we are at your house, there is breakfast every single morning. Yes. So she made you breakfast straight on to when you left the house for college.
Yep.
Did you ever have to make breakfast for yourself? Like for any reason?
What is that?
Never had to make breakfast for yourself.
Well, if she wasn't there, I made it for myself and my brother sometimes, but it was normally just she would make it before she left the house and we'd wake up and it was cold.
And then you would heat it.
If we felt like it, but typically, we ate what was there.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So when you left for school, what did you do to eat and feed yourself when you left and she did not come with you?
At college, I went to the cafeteria.
So somebody has always made your breakfast. So marrying me must have been jarring for you.
Well, jarring is probably a little bit over the top. I learned how to make breakfast myself, but I just didn't have to for a long time.
Uh-huh.
And I found lots of cafes around DC once, I didn't have roommates.
Did your roommates make you breakfast? Okay, you paused too long. I'm done.
No, sometimes we would take turns making stuff.
I guess so. What did they do on your turn? Did they just go out?
I would make dinners and stuff. I just did. I'm not a morning person, so I never really got great at making morning stuff.
All right, that's fair. That's fair, I guess. So growing up, both of my parents worked. And I kind of remember having breakfast, but not like a formal thing. I know that my mom would get instant type items so that we could do it ourselves. She has this story of me being somewhere between like 3 and 5, and she was home on a Saturday and watched me take a can of biscuits into the room to my dad and have him open it. And then I walk back out and she's like, what is she about to do with that? Because she wasn't usually there early in the morning on Saturdays. So she didn't know what our dynamic was in the house. She said, you know what? I was going to stop you because I'm like, what is she really about to use what's happening here? She said she watched me go, put them on the tray and put them in the oven and set up the oven and do the whole thing. And she's like, so there's a grown man in here a boy 4 years her senior, and she is really about to make these people biscuits from the okay. We always had the ability to make something for ourselves because they weren't always there to do it. Yeah, I don't remember there being like a formal, how they have on the TV shows.
No, it was never anything like that. I mean, it was normally she would make tea and maybe some eggs or grits. It wasn't anything like super elaborate. I remember having some of my cousins come to school with blueberry waffles. I'm like, where did that come from? Oh, my mom made it. Really?
Made it? Or got it out the Eggo box?
I don't know, but he had blueberry waffles that didn't look like Eggos, and it was misshapen a little bit.
There's a little off.
Right, so it wasn't like the perfect kind of Eggos, but it had blueberries in it. I'm like, where you get that from, man? My mom there was always at least tea, either eggs or grits or both, and maybe some bacon.
What about oatmeal?
Oatmeal was my dad's thing. And so whenever he made breakfast, it was two things that he did. Either oatmeal, which he expected you to put some cereal on top of it to stretch it.
Sorry.
So,
okay, continue.
So I mean, you had to stretch everything with him. It was that.
Even if you didn't have to.
Look. He grew up. He was the second of 8 kids, so everything had to get stretched.
But there were not 8 kids in your house. You did not have to stretch that oatmeal with cereal.
Look, according to him, I had to stretch it. So put some cornflakes on top of that.
No.
On top of the oatmeal. And then so if it was the other thing that he made was cheesy rice.
For breakfast?
Yes.
No, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm opening old wounds.
I mean, it is a little. Look,
it's awful. I'm sorry.
Well, it was, the government cheese. It would just be a block like a.
First of all, you did not have no government cheese.
Man, yes, we did.
Okay, so we did too, and there was no reason for it. I don't want to go into
have a label.
how we got it. It was
white
a black
with the
and
black
white box.
Yeah,
yes, it's the white box with the black writing with
and
it.
He would cut that up.
No, you gotta grate that. You can't just cut that.
Oh man, come on!
You can't just cut that. There's
he enjoyed a good knife. Put the cheese on top of the rice. The cheese forms this blanket on top of the rice, and you just kind of punch through it. And
for breakfast. Was this last night's rice?
So you notice.
I need to know that he was not boiling rice in the AM. No, but I need to know that he didn't do this was not new morning rice. You're not answering the question.
I don't
want this to be new rice. I want this to be last night's rice, so there's a reason that we're eating rice in the... Okay, you know what? All right, then.
Yeah, it was just there before he told me to get in the truck and go with him. It was...
Oh, so this was not a regular occurrence. Like, you did not wake up and be like, oh!
well, see, the weekends were his. So
I see.
If on Saturday mornings I was supposed to go with him and work with him, he'd give me breakfast. We'd hop in the truck and then we'd go work all day.
Okay, so it was not a hey, let's sit down and have some cheesy rice and juice.
No. This is you need some calories.
Now this makes more sense. This makes
this is
not a lot, but it
field
makes
food. This is field food.
You were not in a field. I'm not doing it. You never stopped getting breakfast. I remember always having access to breakfast food. And my dad made breakfast for himself.
Personal?
He made personal breakfast for himself.
It's like on Friday. When the mama was like, oh, Mom, what you making?
I made my breakfast.
Yeah. Oh, I made breakfast for me.
But he took medication every day, and he took it at the same time. So he did not have time to wait on our kind of like youth sporadic sort of a breakfast situation. And he was not about to waste food just in case we weren't going to eat it. So he made himself like a personal egg, like a little piece of cheese. And, he had his own, maybe some toast or something like that. And his coffee or whatever he was going to have. And he made his own little place setting and everything. But we left earlier than him. So it really wasn't unless I was late for school or something like that I would see it. For the most part, we weren't on the same schedule.
Wait, so did he have sneak treats?
I mean, it wasn't a treat because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't want that.
Oh.
You know, because he would have like smoked herring. I don't want that. He would have like now sardines. I would eat those because he would have sardines and crackers sometimes for breakfast, and I'd be like, for real, you couldn't cut open the sardine or something for me. Most times, if it was some sort of smoked meat or something for breakfast, I did not want that. Some smoked or salted meats. I did not.
That sounds like a good breakfast.
It was fish. I don't want fish for breakfast. You can't go to school smelling like that.
Come on,
Your breath smelling like fish. You the onlyest black child in school, and you come to school smelling like smoked herring. That's not it.
If it's saltfish,
That ain't it.
On it.
That ain't it. We didn't go to the same school. That ain't it. So yeah, he had his own personal breakfast. On weekends, he would make bake, which I guess would be the equivalent of like a biscuit for you.
Yeah, I've had it.
Yeah, no, you haven't had his kind of bake. See, you've had float, which is like a fluffy kind of no, this was bake. It was dense.
Well, is it like the kind of
it's dense,
you
boy.
can throw at somebody?
I mean, it wasn't hard.
Okay.
But it's you don't need but one. You know what I'm saying? You need it's just one. With float, you can have like two. No, it's just one, and it's about the size of a small biscuit. But it sits in your belly, and you don't need nothing till lunch.
Field food.
That ain't field food. That's just, boy, it was good, but you don't need more than one. Right. It's just one.
It's enough calories to carry.
Yes, and you probably have a little salted fish to help it go down a little better. So anyway, I didn't have anybody making me breakfast straight through. So we're very different. This morning we all had breakfast. Yes, and it was weird. But wasn't it weird though?
A little bit.
So when did I stop that you recall making breakfast every morning for the kids? I mean, homeschool, I don't think I had an option because they weren't going to think straight if I didn't give them something.
I don't really know because normally I'd left in the mornings early enough that none of the kids would be up.
Well, they were up, but they were having their pre-breakfast. Remember? Because they would have their tea as their pre-breakfast. They ate all day.
Mm-hmm.
So it really wasn't until you started buying cereal.
Pre-lunch, post-lunch, pre-dinner, dinner.
So when you started buying cereal, they could get their own stuff. And then Evan started making his own eggs. His eggs are fantastic.
It's epic eggs.
So I guess I stopped making daily breakfast when I stopped homeschooling. But they still would really get their own stuff if it's cereal or something like that.
They always just cereal or granola bars or something they can run with.
You started buying Pop-Tarts. Remember that? I was livid.
Wait.
That was horrible. Why?
I didn't.
That's disgusting.
I bought Pop-Tarts like twice since we've been married.
And I am still angry. Why?
Okay, so we gotta unpack.
Do we?
Why do Pop-Tarts upset you?
I mean, we had them.
So why does it upset you then?
Because I never liked them. And I finally read the back of the box, and it is
that's where
trash.
You went wrong. Don't read that.
I don't usually like to feed my children trash. And they are trash.
They are resilient. We're building their resilience.
Are we, or are we building a nice platform for diabetes? What are we really doing? Because you love an instant breakfast, man. You love cream of wheat. Oh, that's disgusting. I'm barely making it through oatmeal. You love an instant breakfast, boy. Just woo.
Well, listen, if you got to get out of the dough, and you got a house full of not so morning people.
But you didn't grow up on instant breakfast.
We would have cream of wheat from time to time. That's where I got it from. My mom liked cream of wheat.
My dad likes cream of wheat. I find it terrible. My mother, everybody liked cream of wheat but me.
Yeah, I mean, it's an acquired taste. It's not.
It's not for the texture, the people who have texture issues, because, man, you get one of them cream of wheat balls and it will ruin my entire day. My whole day is ruined. When you get a ball of half-done cream, I'm getting upset. Okay. Oh. Anyway, I don't know. I also do not particularly like sweet, hot foods. I don't know.
The sweet, hot food.
It's the sweet, hot graininess of it. Like, people who put sugar in their grits. Like, oh.
Okay. Now, listen.
Oh, that's awful. But that's another
That's another topic.
That's another disgusting
those are
topic.
fighting words in the South.
That's
I found that out the hard way.
disgusting. I grew up in the South, and I think
it may have been my first or second week at A&T. Somebody was so offended that it almost started a fight.
Because they put sugar in their grits?
I put sugar in my grits.
I did not know you were a sugar grit.
Clearly that
Our whole relationship is a lie.
I mean, you know
I didn't know.
You know those moments when the record stops?
We should have had this conversation while we were dating.
Well, listen.
I feel bamboozled. This is, wow.
Everybody else is grabbing butter and salt and pepper. And
bacon.
I reach for the sugar.
Yeah.
And everybody at the table turns to look at me as if to say, what are you doing?
I am so ashamed.
Why would you do that and defile the holy grit like
I'm
that?
ashamed. I'm ashamed for you. How long ago was that?
That was my freshman year.
So that was approximately
94.
Oh, so that was 30 years ago?
In 2 years it will be.
I know there's somebody at that table who still remembers Don the Sugar Grit Wilson. That's
well, that was the last
disgusting.
time I tried to put sugar in my grits.
Oh,
because I almost got jumped.
Good. Just shame you into some sense. I ain't never seen your mama put no sugar in grits. Where did you get that?
From her?
Now you just gonna lie on your mama.
Oh, don't do that.
You just gonna lie on her.
Don't do that.
I ain't never seen her do that. I ain't never seen her do it.
Often because there's other stuff to put on it. If
No,
there's eggs or bacon or other stuff to go with
on
it.
her. I have never seen her do such a thing.
I mean,
She's a good person.
She probably just did it to get me and my brother to eat.
She's a good person. She wouldn't do something like that. She would never. Anyway, he got to go to work. And I guess so do I. This was fun. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for Chat and Bother. Go ahead and like our Facebook page and share this episode with people that you want to chat with or just feel like bothering, or both. Visit our website, chatandbother.com, for our episode guide and other ways to connect with us. Take care.